Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video I'm gonna explain the real reason why you are making no gains in the gym. Enough yapping and now hear me out. This is what the progress timeline looks like for most people out there. They start off making good progress in the first year or two of going to the gym. But then, the gains plateau and they end up looking the exact same after 2 or 3 or even more years of lifting. If this is you, you are at the right place because I can guarantee you that if you fix this one thing your gains are going to come very fast. This is a very common problem that many gym goers face. More than 80% of the people I know are doing everything right when it comes to diet, calories and training hard. But what they aren't doing enough of is high quality volume. You heard that right, you guys are doing way too low volume. Less than 10 sets per week. This is far from ideal if you want to build muscle, let alone maintain it. You see, studies and research show that training up to 27, 45 and in some cases even 52 sets per week causes a significant increase in muscle gain compared to the bitch volume you guys are doing. If you didn't know already, volume is the #1 driver of hypertrophy, period. However, there are some so-called fitness experts and YouTubers who debate this, saying that progressive overload is the primary driver of hypertrophy. A great example of this would be Sean Nailwanich, who says that progressive overload is the main thing which drives muscle growth. But the only thing it does is it drives me crazy. Especially the fact that people fall for this BS easily. Jokes aside, let me explain why that is simply and outright wrong. You see, once the factors driving progressive overload and proper training principles are put in place, such as training close to failure, for which I have to credit Sean Nailwanich for promoting it, as most people train like a pussy and have something like 3 to 5 reps in reserve. You should always be aiming to train to complete failure, no matter whatever these geeks and so-called experts online may say. But I will agree with science and say that 0 to 2 RIR is optimal. Other thing is that you have to ensure that you are tracking what weight you do. This is the basic setup for training, aiming for progressive overload to build muscle. However, once that is done, it all comes down to how much recoverable volume you can do while maintaining the progressive overload. What I mean by recoverable volume is the volume you can do without overtraining, because I know some people here who would try doing 45 sets per week when they only sleep for like 4 or 5 hours and eat junk food. Do you understand where I am getting at? Essentially, you can progressively overload doing 1 set per week or 20 sets per week. But now it's common sense which one builds more muscle. Additionally, trained people need more volume than untrained people because of progressive overload. Yes, volume also applies to progressive overload if you didn't already know. Beginners put on muscle easily because they simply haven't trained. Therefore, any form of training will be a novel stimulus to them and they put on muscle easily. However, once you have been training consistently for 1 or 2 years, you need more volume, and studies after studies prove this. What I'm trying to explain is that, sure, progressive overload is important as mechanical tension is the basis of hypertrophy. But once that is set in, the volume of the mechanical tension dictates how fast you will build muscle. Alright, back to the main topic. This study clearly shows how important training volume is. Obviously, I don't just draw conclusions from a single study. It's just that more and more of this are coming out. Now a common question would be, should I really train 45 sets per week? And the answer is, no. Because jumping in and directly doing 45 sets per week will completely burn you out and you will, instead, kill your gains. So here's what you should do. Slowly increase your training volume. If you did 5 sets per week for biceps, for example, increase it to 7, then 9, then 12, then 15. Just slowly increase the amount of sets you do while observing your muscle gains. If your muscle responds, increase the sets until it stops giving any extra gains. And by the way, this all depends on your recovery. If your recovery is trash, you will obviously see no gains from this. And like everything, there is an inverted U-curve. Too much of anything is bad. You can't just do 500 sets per week and see muscle growth. You should also spread the volume equally throughout the week. You can't just do 45 sets of biceps in a single day. This is why I recommend full body workouts and drop sets so that you can do high volume training and also save your time. Also, when you're calculating total weekly volume for a muscle, you also count the amount of sets when a muscle was hit indirectly. For example, for biceps, you should consider lat pull down and cable rows in your bicep volume as well because they are hit along with the back. So if you do 3 sets of pull-ups, you count 3 sets of back and 3 sets of biceps towards your weekly volume goals. This is why compound exercises are effective. That's all for this video. If you are interested in transforming your physique to the next level and stop spinning your wheels for once in your life, click the link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down your thoughts. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.